I mean, outside of the mass shootings, right? Like, everyone's so busy reporting on mass shootings that they just don't give a fuck about anything else. So let's get into local news, folks. It is I, your local news spokesperson. So yesterday was the 61st day of protests in the city of Elizabeth City over the police execution, the unlawful execution of Andrew Brown Jr. in a school zone. By the way, reminder, police fired shots into their own vehicles. The very intelligent officers, Robert Morgan, Daniel Meads, and Aaron Llewellyn, shot into their own vehicles that were sitting on the street in a school zone at 8:30 a.m. Some of the stray bullets entered a neighbor's house, nearly killing them. If they were home, they probably would have been killed, as the bullet went through their couch that they sit in frequently. So I want to remind everyone of these details. So yesterday was Father's Day. Andrew Brown had 7 children that no longer have a father. And usually on Sunday, what we do is we march by Andrew's house and have a moment of silence. And so we did just that yesterday. So we had a very small crowd because I guess the tropical depression was going through North Carolina. And about 20, maybe even 10 minutes after we started marching, it started raining, and it just got progressively more and more rainy, as you can see in the footage here. And so I couldn't post anything until I got home. So we marched all the way to Andrew's house. It started raining like a motherfucker. As we were marching back, it continued to rain like a motherfucker. We still had, again, a solid group of about 10 people show up, though. And it goes to show that no matter what happens, from day to day, there's going to be a group that shows up, myself included. I've been there for 61 days straight. So there's going to be a group that shows up every single day, regardless of if it's a rain, regardless if it's a tropical depression. Let's wait until hurricane season, right? I'm looking forward to hurricane season protesting. That's going to be my shit. And so as we got back to where we started, the police dismissed themselves. They were all like, good job, guys. We sat in these cars in a temperature-controlled car and did nothing while protesters were marching down the street. I actually wanted to show, I've got this this thing that I didn't post that I should post. So I'm going to look for this real quick. There was a really very, very bizarre police vehicle setup that I wanted to shine light on because it was highly irregular. Here it is. So we had 2 cop cars, wait for it, blocking a road like this. So can someone, now again, I want to remind everyone, we have been filing complaints almost every 2, I'd say we were going to be filing complaints with the police department 5 or 6 days a week. And so we told them to block the streets, and we told them to turn the car sideways so that they could block both lanes. And this is what they ended up doing yesterday. They had 2 police cars. One was blocking sideways in one lane, and the other one was blocking right behind it, leaving one of the lanes fully open. Now, as we know, if someone has intent to drive through a crowd, they're obviously only going to be driving on the right side of the road. Duh! If someone is intending on killing people, something that is a criminally unlawful act, right? Obviously, they would never do such a thing, such as driving on the wrong side of the road for 3 seconds. Right? That would never happen. And so, that's what's so confusing about, the way that the cops are doing this. So, we got a little pissed off at that. And as a result, because the cops dismissed themselves, our permit was stated to last until 3 p.m. And so what we did was we got back at around 2:45, and the cops left, and then we went up and to talk to Lieutenant Dumbfuck, and he got really, really mad. He got really, really mad. He went on the radio and was trying to get his officers back, but he was he wasn't saying anything on the radio. He was holding it up to his mouth, and he kept going so you wanna have us come back out here for another 15 minutes? And we're yeah, the permit says we have until 3. You're telling us to file permits, so we're following the permits. And then he was like, the permit says that when you get to the end of the route that the parade is over. And so what we did is we had the permit paper. We pulled the paper out and showed it to him and said, it says that nowhere on this paper. It says nowhere that the route and the event ends when we reach the end of the parade route. It doesn't say that anywhere. And we showed him the permit, and he was like, okay, so you want me to call them back out for another 10 minutes? And I'm like, and we're like, yup. We're like, yup. So that's exactly what we did. And so we marched up and down Main Street in a tropical depression for about 15 minutes, and it was pretty good. The cops were very, very upset. They didn't block any of the side streets, so we could have gotten killed, and it would have been their fault. But, we didn't get killed. Fortunately, we're still alive. But again, like, I don't know why the cops are, like, the main thing here is why is it the cops that tell themselves to go home? Right? Like, like, if it were any other event, right, the cops would not be saying, oh, like, all right, like, if they're doing security at a concert, as soon as, like, the set is finished, do the cops go home? Does security go home? Or did they wait until all the fucking people in the band, right, put their fucking instruments down, walk off stage, and get into their fucking bus or whatever? Like that's the thing, is why are they dismissing themselves, like, before we finish what we're doing? So we decide to walk up to one of the lieutenants that was still there. All the other cops dismissed themselves. And so we walked up to them and just, asked them a simple question. And they tried to fuck us over. We pulled out the permit. And, oops, right? Isn't that interesting, by the way? That law enforcement doesn't know the law? Why did why did Lieutenant Judge decide to say, oh, no, we don't have to be here when the event ends? Why did he think that was acceptable to say? The permit says until 3 o'clock. You're out here until 3 o'clock, bitch. Like, I hate to be the one to tell you, but, like, you can't clock out early and expect to keep your job, right? Like, that's a problem. So, yeah, and again, like, it's just been really, like, the police here are fucking frustrating. They're ridiculous. They're full of themselves. They're narcissistic. They're losers. They're crybabies. They're whiners. And they're fucking, like, man-children. They're all a bunch of bitch-faced bitch motherfuckers, man. And I love sticking it to them. That's my shit. And especially in a tropical depression. We are already wet. Why not be wet for another 15 minutes? That was what we decided on. And it was pretty badass. And then we went home. And all in all, pretty good day of protesting. Today, I don't know what's going to happen today. There's supposed to be a county commissioner meeting. Some people want to go in the meeting and give their voices out. Some people don't and think that it's a waste of time and a trap. So, we'll see how that ends up. I will be covering... If people stay out and march, I will be covering the march. If nobody stays out and marches and everyone goes into the county commissioner meeting, I will go in there as well. But if there's going to be street action, I'm always going to be in the street. So that's going to be my decision-making process. Also, Wednesday, Elizabeth City protesters are going to be bussed into Raleigh, and they're going to be doing a protest on the state capital of North Carolina over a House bill that says any gatherings of over 3 people can be legally declared a riot at any time. It's unconstitutional, but doesn't matter because cops don't follow the Constitution. They follow whatever their boss says. So the Republicans and some Democrats are trying to basically pass a law that if you're outside with 4 people or more, you're a riot. Doesn't matter if it's like a cookout on your front lawn. It's a riot, motherfucker. Doesn't matter if you're walking with your homies on over to Taco Bell. That shit's a riot. So that's what they're trying to say. And so Elizabeth City is going to they've got a free bus. If you're in Elizabeth City, you can go check that out. And so I will, again, be holding it down here in Elizabeth City. I will not be going to Raleigh. I will be staying in Elizabeth City because we have to continue having our daily marches here. And so that's where I'm at. So just so y'all know, I'm staying here. It would be cool to go to Raleigh, but, that's not my position within the movement. So I will document what happens in Elizabeth City. And we'll go from there. Another reminder is Governor of North Carolina, Roy Cooper, has said that he's interested in coming down in the next 2 weeks. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if that happens. And I've not heard any other follow-up. I was told that he would give us a date, in a couple days, and that was a couple days ago. So I don't know if I just haven't gotten the follow-up or if he hasn't given the follow-up. I'm not sure what's going on. But Roy-ass motherfucking boy is coming in, I guess. And so that's the case. So. But again, if you're interested in, and you live in Elizabeth City, there's going to be a bus, I think at 11 a.m., free of charge. I don't know where it is, but I can maybe get that information and give it back to you tomorrow if you're interested. Or you can just come out to the protest and ask whoever has the free bus. And so that's going to be the case. So, bada boom, that's it. Day 61, huge win.